Last week, I did a video talking about 5 secured cards that earn rewards. Great news, I've got 3 more secured cards that will earn you rewards that are issued by US Bank. And I do recommend that you watch both videos because by doing that, you're going to have 8 solid options to help you build your credit with a secured credit card that's going to earn you rewards, have no annual fee, and these cards, all 8, will graduate in time. When viewers leave comments, I do my best to read them, and if I can, I do comment back. And this week I came across a really good comment from Jeremy Moore that inspired this video. After I did my video on 5 secured cards with rewards, Jeremy alerted me to 2 US Bank secured credit cards that just came out on October 5th, actually, and I made the video on October 10th. So that's why I never came across those secured cards. But Jeremy knew about them and he alerted me to that, and then I thought this is a perfect time to do a quick follow-up video from last week to give you a few extra secured cards to know about. And they just came out, and in my research I found another US Bank secured credit card that earns rewards. So I'm going to be talking about that one too. That particular card cannot be found on the US Bank website, but I'll tell you where you can find it once I get to that point in the video. So what Jeremy told me was that through his own experience, he believes that having a US Bank account can help you get approved. And I spoke to a banker directly at US Bank, so I know the answer on whether it helps or not, and I'll go into that later in this video. So like I said, I did call US Bank directly. I called a branch and spoke to a banker. I had questions and I wanted to clear it up so I could make a better video for you. By the end, I hope you learned so much about these US Bank secured credit cards that you can't help but hit that like button. I did spend more time than I usually do researching for a video, and a lot of the information I found on the US Bank secured card, the one that didn't have rewards, the information was older, and there was videos like the one from How to Build Credit TV. Keep in mind this video came out in 2018, and back at that time the US Bank secured card had an annual fee. Back then they had an annual fee of $29. I want to clear up that all US Bank secured credit cards now have no annual fees. So if you were thinking about that in the past and that was what was holding you back, just know that every card I'm talking about today has no annual fee. The first card I'll be talking about is the US Bank Altitude Go Visa secured card. This card will earn you 4x on dining and takeout. Besides that, you get 2x rewards on your grocery store, gas station, and streaming services purchases. Then you earn 1x on everything else. What's interesting about the secured reward card that is not offered by any other of the reward secured cards that I talk about is that it offers a credit, a $15 streaming credit for annual streaming service purchases like Netflix and Spotify. So that's a great added bonus for a secured credit card with no annual fee. So you're probably asking, what can I use my reward points for? Well, I'm glad you asked good questions, because you can choose reward options like travel, merchandise, cashback, and gift cards, or redeem points instantly for nearly any purchase with real-time rewards. As long as you keep your account open and in good standing, your rewards will not expire. So now I will be talking about the US Bank Cash Plus Visa secured card. With this one, you earn 5% cash back on eligible purchases each quarter in 2 categories you choose. Earn 2% cash back on eligible purchases in your choice of 1 everyday category, such as gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. Unlike the US Bank Altitude Go Visa card, cash rewards will expire at the end of the calendar month 36 months after the billing cycle in which they were earned. So you really want to be careful that you don't let these rewards expire. So these do expire for this secured card while the other one does not. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next card is a branded card, and it is a name brand that you have heard of. It's called the HD Visa Secured Card, and HD stands for Harley Davidson. To make this simple, you basically earn 1x on your purchases that you can redeem for Harley merchandise and gear. Like I said in the beginning of this video, you cannot apply for this secured card on the US Bank website. If you type this address here, you can reach the application page and learn more about this offer. They even have a calculator you can use to see how much you can potentially earn in rewards. So even though this US Bank secured card is a little different than the others, your account is still up for review in about 12 months on whether it can reach unsecured status. So now it's time for the pros and cons list. When I spoke with a banker, he told me that this card is really good for people with no credit, some established credit, or if you are an immigrant new to this country with a social security number. These are people that oftentimes get approved. But he also said that if your credit is not so good, you should have a good chance of getting approved. However, if you have a really difficult time right now with your credit score, you can apply, but you do run the risk that you can be denied for this offer. And like I said before, there's two really good cards that can help you get credit if you have really bad credit. I always put it on the homepage of my website, and if you use those links, that does help my channel, and I thank you for that. But regardless whether you want to use them or not, they are the OpenSky Visa and a self credit builder loan. Those two offers really do approve the vast majority of people. There's very few cases where they don't, and it's usually maybe an application is not completely correct. But if you have really bad credit and you've tried the different secured cards I've been talking about in these two videos without a success, you can apply for those two offers, and you have a very, very good chance of getting approved for those. So keep that in mind, OpenSky Visa or self-credit builder loans. A pro is that you can either apply online or you can go inside a branch and speak with a banker directly. They can help you apply. And if you're going to go into a branch, make sure you have your routing number and account number, either to a US Bank account, or it doesn't have to be, it could be from another bank, and they can assist you in applying. And when you're making a payment, you can make that at a branch or even at an ATM. So they're really helping with the convenience factor. If you don't want to make your payments online, if you have a bank branch near you, you can go inside and take care of it. Now the last one I'm leaving at the end because it could be either considered a pro or a con, depending on how you feel. But these cards will graduate, but generally it'll take about a year for that to happen. And if you watch my other video, my first video that I have linked in the description, you'll see that there are cards that I'm talking about that graduate a lot faster, like as short as 6 months. So if time's an issue for you, then I would look into some of those cards I talked about in the other video. So the first thing that I consider a con, and it's not even a bad con, is that the security deposit is $300, which is not necessarily bad because back in the day, minimum deposits generally were at least $500. So this is still pretty low at $300. But in my other videos, I had cards that only required $200 security deposits and one only required $100. So if A security deposit, how much you put down, is a factor, and you want the lowest possible. You'll need to check out the other video, but I think 300 is not bad. So it's up to you to make that decision. So the second con for US Bank secured cards is that these cards don't have pre-qualification applications. So when you apply, when you choose to go through the full application process, if your credit score is not high enough, you will get denied with that hard credit inquiry on your report. It's fine if you get approved. Good payment history can offset your credit score going down a few points, but if you get denied, you're going to have no secured card and you're going to have a few points lower in your credit score. So be mindful of that. So if you remember in Jeremy's comment, he said that he believes that ultimately the reason he got approved for a US Bank secured card was because he opened a bank account and held it for 1 month before he applied. So I had the opportunity this week to ask a banker whether that does factor into approvals. And the answer is, it does, but only slightly. He wanted to stress that it is a factor, but other factors weigh in more heavily for an approval. So basically, opening an account will put you over the edge to the approval side. If you have okay, like not so bad credit, this could be the little boost you need to get you an approval. But generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend opening a US Bank account unless you plan to use it, because you might end up having a useless account just used for an application. Or you can open an account now and then get one of those credit rebuilding offers I talked about earlier. Wait about 6 months, so you're boosting your credit score a little bit more. So you're going to have a higher credit score, and you're also going to have a US Bank account. Try applying then, and you'll probably have a lot better chance of getting approved. So there are people right now that have the US Bank secured card without the rewards. And if you're one of those people like Jeremy, I would suggest trying to do a product change even when it's secured. I don't know if you can, but I would try. And if you are able to do that or not, please leave a comment and let everybody know if they're able to do that. Otherwise, typically when a card graduates to unsecured, many credit card companies allow you to do a product change. I'm letting you know that because there are people that either keep the card using it without rewards or cancel it and reapply for a rewards card through the same bank. I'm telling you, many times you don't have to do that. You can do a product change and keep the same account number on your credit file. So a question you may have is, how does the security deposit actually work? So the answer to that is, your refundable deposit is held in a secured US Bank savings account. The savings account is FDIC insured, earns interest, and won't be touched as long as your account remains open and in good standing. Also, this is some information I received when I spoke to the banker, and with on-time payment history, you have the chance of receiving an invitation to convert and have your US Bank secured card graduate to unsecured in about a year. I was told by the banker once your account graduates, in about 2 billing cycles after, your money gets returned and the savings account gets canceled. One thing I don't like is that they close the savings account rather than allowing the customer to decide whether they want to close it or have it remained open. But this could have been based on regulation and they need to close that account. One reason I'm glad I talked to a banker from US Bank is that he told me that if you don't get an invitation offer to upgrade your account to unsecured, you can actually call up and request that. I am going to give a little tip here because I think what you should do is ask if they're going to do a hard credit inquiry when they look into your account. Usually banks these days do not, but some still do, and they may not tell you. So you want to ask so you know where you stand, and then you can make a decision, or yes or no if you want to go forward. Okay, so I told you about these 3 US Bank secured cards that are earning rewards. These rewards are pretty impressive. So the question I have now to you is, what do you think about these cards? Do you think they're better than the Discover It Secured card that we're so familiar with? The one that earns 2% cash back at gas stations and grocery stores and 1% on everything else. What do you think about these offers I'm talking about today? Are they better than the Discover It Secured card? Let us know in the comment section. Hit that like button if my guide to US Bank secured credit cards with rewards was helpful to you. Check out the other video I did for 5 more secured cards with rewards, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see me next time. Take care.